the little girl was shocked to discover that her mother had only whispered a few words to a male guest at the restaurant. But later that night, the same man secretly followed her mother into their wine cellar. Curious, she rushed over to see what secret they were hiding, only to be caught by her mother. Her mother's face turned cold instantly. Without a word, she slapped her across the face, warning her to never go near the wine cellar and never drink their homemade wine. Hearing this, the girl returned to her room in silence, unaware that her mother's hands were already stained with blood. The next day, while the girl and her mother were playing in the yard, a female customer from the restaurant arrived. Her husband had been cheating on her, leaving her in despair. She begged the mother to let her husband drink the homemade wine. Once again, the mother whispered something quietly to the woman. Not long after, the woman returned with her husband. At first, the man was unimpressed by the rundown courtyard, but changed his mind upon seeing the mother's graceful figure. The girl wanted to stay and listen in, but her mother quickly found an excuse to send her away. Meanwhile, the female customer began to have second thoughts, trying to convince her husband to leave, but he refused angrily. The mother said no more. She simply led them both into the mysterious wine cellar. The girl tried to sneak closer again, but this time, she saw her mother lock the door shut. Time passed quickly. 10 years later, the girl returned home after graduating college, and was surprised to find her mother's restaurant had become famous. People lined up from morning till night to buy her wine. To finally satisfy the curiosity she'd carried for years, the girl paid double to buy a bottle of wine from one of the customers. The moment she picked it up, she smelled a strange meaty aroma. Back in her room, she eagerly poured herself a glass, and was just about to drink it down, when her mother suddenly rushed in and stopped her. Her mother scolded her harshly, asking how she dared drink the homemade wine without permission. The girl demanded to know why the wine smelled like meat. Her mother dodged the question, insisting it was real grain wine, saying the ingredients were all bought from town. Then, without waiting for a reply, she patted her daughter gently, and left with the wine in her hands. But the girl knew she was lying, because she had already investigated. Her mother hadn't bought a single grain from town. That night, the girl tossed and turned in bed, unable to sleep without uncovering the truth about the wine cellar. Late at night, she gathered her courage and opened the cellar door. The scene that met her eyes left her frozen in place. Her mother was wiping down a chopping board, with a cloth soaked in blood. The basin nearby was full of it. When the mother noticed her, she jumped in shock, and demanded to know why she was there at that hour. The girl made up an excuse, then asked what the blood was from. The mother calmly explained that it was just red cloth used to cover the wine jars, and she was simply preparing wine for sale. Clearly unconvinced, the girl pressed for the truth. The mother had no choice but to play the guilt card, saying she'd raised her for years, and didn't want her burdened by the hard work. Hearing this, the girl softened a little, and was just about to leave, when she heard a strange sound. It sounded like a human voice, driven by curiosity. She looked toward the wine jars on the floor, but her mother blocked her path, saying it had always been just the two of them. There couldn't be anyone else. But this time, the girl refused to back down. She insisted on finding out the truth. Eventually, the mother gave in. She lifted the lid off one of the wine jars. The girl peeked inside. It appeared to be filled with clear wine. The mother casually explained that during fermentation, the wine produces natural movement